guys this morning. Welcome and welcome to our Sunday sermon. If you are new, I'm Dov.
I'm Nicole.
And we are motivational speakers. We are consciousness mentors. We're energy alchemists. Essentially, we understand and see things that a lot of other people do not at times. And what we're able to do is shift that for you so that you are in your divine power. So we're excited to have you guys popping on. Hey, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning, Samantha.
Hey, good Samantha. Hi, Carmen. How's it going with you guys?
I love you, Carmen.
Hi, we're so happy.
What's up,
hey, Lauren. It's so nice to see you guys. We were away.
Hi, Danny.
And it's really nice to be back and feel the community. And hi, it's so nice. Hey, Dad. Hey. Oh, God, hey, Sophia's Dad. Wanting to hop on. Hey, Mike, how's it going? Nice to see you this morning. So we're really excited about this morning's topic. And again, if you guys are new to Sunday sermon, as you guys are hopping on, this is a space for whatever denomination, whatever belief system you have to create sacred space in your day, intention, bring clarity and consciousness, right? And this subject is very apropos for what our whole sermon is about, which is about bringing a conscious awareness to something and allowing that to shift, right? Because here in this time, we speak and we preach on certain matters to allow you to start to resonate with a higher truth for yourself and get clarity on certain issues. So if you're hopping in new, welcome to our page. Please subscribe. And if you guys are also now just hopping on and we're seeing all of you, hey, we're so excited. You know, allow yourself to tag and pull some people in. This is going to be a really important subject. So what we're talking about today is the healing spiral. What the heck is the healing spiral and what does it mean, right? A lot of us go through this experience where we feel, yes, 22, everything. Oh my goodness.
I've been seeing it like forever since we went on vacation.
Hey, Jen, nice to see you. So the healing spiral, this concept that Nicole and I are constantly talking about and have experienced with our clients and have experienced with ourselves over years and years. We ask ourselves why, right? The most common question or the most common statement that I get from people is, how is this coming up again? Right? I've worked on this.
Know what we're talking about.
I've worked on this. I should be over this. I should be past this. How is this coming up again? And what we realized, and Nicole and I both in our work, we're very visual. We see things very visually. We see energy very visually. We see consciousness visually. And so, you know, we walk through this process and we realize that it's because it's not, and as we know, time is not linear. It's not about a linear process. It's about this expansion where we come into the spiral of the experience, of the pain body, of the trauma, of the belief system, and then we come back out and we start to continue to go forward and we wrap back in again. And each time we're sort of coming back in at a deeper level, but also with a deeper perspective, also with a deeper, you know, angle, a deeper consciousness and a different consciousness. And so this healing spiral is actually not a step backwards. It's the process by which we take a cake, an onion, whatever you guys feel is a good analogy, right? I like the layers of an onion, but people were like, ew, you know? So then I started doing the layers of a cake. It might make you more excited about your day. So you're going through these layers, you're looking deeply into these issues. And it's not about them not being resolved or you not doing a good job. And so the first and foremost, before we even go any further, give yourself a big deep breath and a break and go,
yes.
Okay, if I'm revisiting some of the old stuff, if I'm realizing there's an aspect of something that I have given some attention to, but it's coming up again. I have spent years working on it, but there's an aspect of it coming up again, right? Allow yourself to just stop the judgment in the moment, right now. And Sophia's very active this morning.
Active and wild
allow
right
yourself
now.
To stop the judgment in this morning, you know, and allow yourself to just hear and how this might actually be exactly how it was designed to be and how you might not actually be going backwards at all.
Oh my goodness. I love you.
I love you too.
Somebody asked, at the end, I will tell you about our vacation.
Sure.
They wanted to hear about our vacation. It was really beautiful and it was like amazing to feel the grids in a different place. And so, wow, there's so much that Dov just said. I don't even know where to go with that,
Well,
girl.
we were talking this morning about the consciousness.
So let's talk about frequency. So when your consciousness shifts, your actual frequency shifts. So imagine if you have a wound that you're at a lower frequency, it's very hard to hit it. So as your consciousness is shifting and as you're raising this vibration, it's going to go more deeply. And so at times it feels like you're going backwards, but really it's just hitting it from a different angle, right? So for me, wow, the last 3 months have been hard, right? We're so vulnerable, Dov and I. I have cried a lot. I have been very depressed. I have been struggling. I'm really candid with you guys. I'm gonna give it to you, right? Because I consider myself I'm always authentic with you guys. And it's been really hard. It's been really hard for me, right? And so I have to really pull in all this faith and pray. And Dov and I, we worked through so much stuff recently. And yeah.
And being able to do it from that level, right? So what Nicole was saying was really, really important. Your consciousness is shifting at every given moment. So when you revisit something where you think, oh, I should be over it. Oh, I should be past this. How am I going back to this? The perspective and the frequency and the consciousness that you bring into that is completely different, right? So we can go backwards, but really what we're doing is we're looking at it with a perspective and a frequency that actually has the potential to really resolve it. So one thing that we have learned very deeply in our work is that if we are not truly aware what the real issue is, right, in a pinpointed, specific way, not kind of around the issue. So a lot of people will come to us and they'll say, oh my gosh, I've been doing work for years and years and years. If the work is on the symptom, if the work is general, if the work is missing the deepest mark, then the issue kind of doesn't dissolve. So as you are naturally coming back into your healing spiral over and over again, it is because you're designed sort of subconsciously to come back in until you have the ability, the consciousness, the subconsciousness, the vibration, the frequency to hit that spot, to see the depth, to get to that root of truth and clarity, where at that point it can be excavated and moved and shifted.
And so why does it look really hard and bad and it looks like really gross, right? Because when something is dying within you,
yes,
that old self is dying, mama's gonna put a fight up. That part of you is gonna fight. It's not gonna go easily. So sometimes we're like, oh my God, I am doing this behavior again. Oh my God, I relapsed. Oh my God, I'm doing this. And it's grotesque in nature and you're seeing it in its true form because you have to, because it's starting to squirm. When something, we're here we survive. Like there's a part of our ego. It's like survival, right? We're connected to this piece of ego okay, so you got into a fight with your other half, right? So you relapsed. So you are doing a behavior that, maybe your issues with food, you're not doing well with your food, and it looks bad and you're like, oh my God, I'm being really clingy with my other half. I'm in separation from my partner. I'm freaking losing my mind. There's these pieces that are just coming up and they're dying. And so when we look at it in that way, we can allow them to just honor that part of you, to say goodbye, to know that it doesn't mean that you're going backwards. It's just revisiting this place where you just need to sit with that feeling, that emotion.
Yes.
It's like, you have to go into the energy of it, the frequency of it. It's just like doing surgery. You have to know. And so the frequency comes up, it looks nasty. And then the way the universe works is it just is always healing you.
Yes.
The universe is love, your love, right? So love is always growing. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is amazing. Love doesn't go backwards. You are growing at every moment. You are expanding at every moment. Whether your life looks like shit right now or it looks great, you're still expanding. And so just being able to accept that, okay, going through it right now, don't really like the way I was acting, don't really like the way things are feeling right now. I promise you there's always the rainbow. There's always something on the other side. And damn, did I need that message for me today. I needed that for me. I did.
Right? And we do this. And again, it's making me think. The other thing too that happens is that we are sometimes not ready. Sometimes not ready to let go of a trauma, of a feeling, of a behavior, of a pattern. Why? Because our consciousness is also not in the place to have that release. Our consciousness is also not in the place because those behaviors, those traumas, those experiences, those things, they are actually serving us until we're ready to let them go. And so why is it a spiral? It's a spiral because you come back in with a new consciousness each time.
Yes.
You come back in with a new consciousness each time until you're actually able to release it. So instead of thinking, wow, you know, I had a therapist and then a healer and then a Reiki practitioner and then a psychic and then so on and so forth, and I'm still working on the same thing. But the thing is that your consciousness is evolving throughout the process. When people say to me, I've lost time, I've lost 20 years. Why didn't I know this now? I lost 10 years. Why didn't I find you first, right? A lot of people will come and say, well, if I just found you 10 years ago. And it's like, but no, because actually your ability to hear the words that we're saying right now is contingent on every other experience that you've had. Every experience that you had. Even the things that you thought were a waste of your time or that didn't bring you to the resolution of the issue, they all brought you to the resolution of the issue because they brought you into the spiral and then back out and into it again until you got to that root, until you got to that clarity with the appropriate level of consciousness to actually allow yourself to release it. Right? Amen, right? Hashtag amen if you guys are hearing what I'm saying. And share this message if it feels good. And if there's people that you feel need to hear this right now, tag them below, right? Share this. We're here to be with you guys. If you're hopping on, welcome. It's nice to see some of you guys just joining. We're really happy to see you again. Hey, Brittany, love you so much. Really nice to see you on here. So, you know, it's very, very important. And one of the things that's been very present to me as well recently has been this concept of how we construct ideas around things, right? And so you might think, you might just have this experience, right? Or it might just be the simple experience of, I'm gonna go back in, consciousness is gonna shift, I'm gonna go back in again. And so we're moving on with our life and we're allowing our consciousness to shift and we're allowing these things to resolve and so on and so forth. Or, well, you can actually build a whole story around the spiral, which is often what happens around the block. So imagine you have a block, imagine you have a trauma, imagine you have something that happened to you, and then imagine that there's a spiral, a mini spiral around that thing, and you've really got to keep going back in until the consciousness is appropriate, until it's time to release it, until you can receive the releasing of it, till you're aware of it, till it's the right time. But where we trip ourselves up is then we start to take hammer and nails and we start to build fortress of ideas and crap and stories around it that are so bound we can't even enter sometimes the spiral.
Yes. We
just get stuck. Instead of actually being able to go in and out of that spiral so that the healing can really happen, we will actually just build a whole entire wall and then a fortress around it and then a tent. And then, you know, whatever else your imagination wants to do, and we will build that with stories and ideas and identification and labels. And so we'll say, well, I'm just this, or I'm just a mess up, or I'm never going to get over that, or I can't get over that. Or you know what that little experience I had means? It means this, 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 and this. Does it really? Because the mind wants to create stories, and then the worst of it is that the mind wants to prove itself right at every single turn. So then, if you create those stories, the mind doesn't want to experience the healing because the release of the story would prove you wrong. Right? It would prove you wrong. It would prove you wrong to go against the stories you built. And this is why it's so important to watch the stories that we create around this, where we start to not even allow us to go into that healing spiral, which is part of what we were saying earlier. Just the thought alone, the story, I'm going backwards. It's a story. That story is powerful. The story of I'm going backwards is powerful.
Yes.
Because then you're going to act accordingly.
Yes.
And you're going to prove accordingly. And you're going to hold that. And you're going to prove yourself right. And you're going to set your life on fire if you have to prove that you are right, that you are going backwards. When maybe you're not going backwards at all. Just going in and out of the experience until the consciousness is right, until the clarity is specific enough.
Yeah, and sometimes we just need to experience things. You know, for me, I am a stubborn SOB. I'm stubborn, right? Like, there's parts of me, like we were talking this morning about, like all my little inner parts, like my little wounded, you know, children inside me, like when I was 12, like inner rebellion and all of these parts of us that show up, you know, when adult Nicole's not there and throws tantrums and is struggling and all of these things. And just being able to honor yourself right now, right? Like wherever you are, honor yourself. Like, don't quit. Like, life can be really painful. I know for Dov and I, we didn't come here for vanilla. We came here for spicy spice. You know, we went all in, you know, from the beginning. We've experienced like so many different traumatic things. I have to constantly tell myself sometimes, like, wow, you went through some crap, dude. Like, it's okay that you don't feel okay right now. Like, it's okay that you're having all of these issues. Like, for some of you, like, you've gone through some things, and honoring that part of you and honoring God and the universe and understanding that love is everything. And no matter what, like, you're gonna be okay. Like, you're always okay. Dov was just talking about stories. It's really interesting because I had a few stories this last 3 months, and I've been like kind of, you know, going through a really deep, dark night, like a really dark part of my shadow, looking at like the parts of me that I don't like, looking at the parts of me that are unable to show up, looking at the parts of me that are unhappy, looking at the parts of me that are ungrateful, looking at the parts of me that just stop Nicole from being Nicole. You see these parts of you that stop you from being in your free will and your sovereignty and your choice. I know my dog's hair is like, whew, we're like blowing it. You know, this morning I was sitting there and I was like thinking of all the things I was struggling with. And in that moment, like my consciousness shift to choice. You have a choice on how you are going to see things, on the decision that you're going to make next. Even when you feel like you're stuck in something that you can't get out of, you still have choice. And when I felt that choice, I like literally like hit my knees in the shower and was like crying, and I was so grateful because it reminded me that at every moment, this is your reality. This is yours. You're creating it at every place. So how we look at it, right? So how we look at each thing that we go through and the consciousness that we bring to it is really important. It's like reminding yourself that you're worth it, even if everything's a mess, even if you don't feel okay, you're still worth it. You are still this huge friggin' awesome being that came here, that's helping people, that just your smile every day, whenever you smile, like that's actually bringing joy to this planet. Just your breath, just a breath is enough. And we love you guys so much. Oh my God, we missed you. We missed you.
Missed you guys so much. Oh, Nikki, so happy to hear that. Somebody asked if Nicole had a rapper name. I love that. She does not.
Slim.
She's just making stuff up. I guess you guys can, we can do a vote for a rapper name.
Hashtag my rapper name right now. I don't know. Come up with some ideas and I'll take it.
I love you guys. You're so funny. You know, somebody wrote, the worst is proving yourself wrong. I mean, I think that depending on what your ideas are, the worst is proving yourself right. And so if your consciousness in a negative way, right? So if your consciousness is around negativity, if your consciousness is around old ideas and theories and thoughts, if your consciousness is about, you know, believing things like the world's out to get me, you know, I'll never be happy, I'm not good enough. You know, we create our entire life, we create the attempt to prove this, right? And so proving yourself right in those instances is actually the worst thing. And so really thinking about when Nicole was talking about you have freedom in every moment to create what you want to create, understand that it also starts with your decision in the mind. It starts with your consciousness. It starts with where your consciousness is. And it also starts with massive willingness, right? Willingness to just go, okay, this feels terrible anyway. I'm willing to envision and create the life that I want to create. And there is this amazing aspect of actually not being able to experience that life if you don't actually invite it into your reality right now, because we talked about how time is not linear and we talked about how time is an illusion. And if you don't start to embody deeply the belief systems that you want to live, and if you don't embody the ideas that you want to experience, right? The universe is supporting the creation of your mind, the creation of your energy, the creation of your frequency. You know, and it's amazing as your consciousness evolves. So the higher consciousness you guys are, the higher your vibration is, the more responsible we really are at every single turn for the experience that we have. And it was like there was an excuse before when you don't know, right? But when you do know, so as your consciousness evolves, there really isn't the excuse anymore, right? Then it comes down to the choice. It comes down to choices that are creating things you don't want or creating things you do want, right? And this is why we actually invite ourselves to go back into that spiral we're talking about. Because that means if there is a belief system that you are not good enough, or if there's a belief system that, you know, life is out to get you, or that the universe has forsaken you, or that, you know, so on and so forth, or that, you know, God, creator, mother, whatever you believe, universe doesn't love you, has left you, then that goes back to a core in that spiral that hasn't been resolved. So instead of actually resisting this concept, maybe even get excited. When I have to go back into something, I'm like, you know, Nicole talked about she had to go into some stuff. We're constantly doing that. We would not show up for you guys if we weren't. But that's because it's this constant evolution into the unwinding of things that are ancient. And for us, also the unwinding of all of you guys, because we're doing so much work for the collective that we experience it through ourselves as well, right? But really give that some thought. This morning, purging. Clarissa, that's interesting. I'm not going to talk about that right now, but it's really interesting that you bring that up. So pay attention to the post this week, because we are going to be doing a video this week actually on purging. Specifically the experience, why, when, and also some answers to some stuff that is going to be super powerful that you can do. So it's interesting that you brought that up, right? This amazing, hey Taylor, good morning. It's so nice to see you.
Hi, love.
So this amazing collective consciousness, right? And see how this is not even a synchronicity. This is actually the level that people are starting to get, where there's a comment, where there was a thought, where there was, so watch your creation. You are rapid fire. What I've seen right now recently is that after this eclipse season kind of shifted and the planets all went out of this energy of Mercury, you know, Mercury was retrograde, Mars, all these things, they went out of the retrograde energy. One thing I saw is that manifestation is quick.
It's very quick.
Manifestation right now is very fast. And so the thing is, what is it that you want to manifest? Right? Do you, and even just in the belief system of I am going backwards, we are manifesting backwards.
Yes.
Or the illusion of.
Yes.
The illusion of backwards when you go into that belief system. So watch what you are creating in this moment. It is very, very powerful.
So you guys were sending hashtags of my rapper name, and my favorite one goes to Justin with Nick Lovin'. I love it. It was so amazing.
I'll embarrass Nicole. I think when she was like in her early 20s, I don't know if it was a joke or serious, but I think one of your rapper names was Saint Nick.
It was Saint Nick. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Right? I like Nick Lovin, or Nick Lovin. That's pretty funny. So, you know, laughing is really, really important. Right. Stephanie, manifestation has been super quick. And so it comes down to this really deep responsibility. And I talk a lot about responsibility, and people don't like the concept of responsibility because we're conditioned to believe that the word and the concept of responsibility is a negative thing. Responsibility equals actual freedom. Consciousness equals actual freedom.
Complete
responsibility
freedom.
means I understand that I'm going to do what I need to see how I am creating my reality so that I can ensure that I experience the reality that I want to experience. That's what it means for me. It doesn't mean, crap, I have to, you know, I have to clean my room, crap, it's I have the opportunity. And even that, right? Think about it, how we're conditioned. Oh, responsibility means I have to clean my room. Isn't it great that you could have a clean room, right? You could also have a messy one, right? We're all adulting at this point, but you know, that's the truth about our life too. We can have a messy life and we can have a one that makes us happy. We could have one that is adventurous, one that is quiet. But it all comes down into this responsibility of owning, seeing, and fearlessly looking in and going back into this cycle, right? Into the spiral, I mean to say. Going back into this healing spiral as much as we need to get to the core and to release it. It is layers. It is layers, and it is shifting at the consciousness that you're going into it with. Yes. At every point, right? We record our sessions with our clients, and one of the main reasons I do that is because I can promise them, and any of you guys who have worked with us, you'll listen to it in the session, breakthrough. But you listen to it again in a week, I didn't even hear that. You listen to it again in a year, I didn't even hear that. Why? Because we don't lower the level that we speak. We speak at the level that the information comes, and as you change, you hear things years later. And what is that? That means that as our consciousness changes, we see facets, I wanted to say facets and aspects at the same time, that are different. The consciousness is moving and shifting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our trip. So we're really happy you guys were here. And for any of you guys that want to hear about the trip, it was wonderful. Thank you guys for all of your messages. Really beautiful. You know, Nicole and I are gravitating towards different areas depending on the energy too there. Yeah. And so it was not really a mistake. It was just kind of a good energetic shift in frequency. And a lot of what came was some of what we shared this morning. For me, there was a lot of messages that came in, and one is how we can create so many stories around simple things instead of actually allowing the small percentage that is a fact to be just the fact, and then create whatever or not create whatever story isn't working for us, right? And the other thing was this amazing aspect of it. It's just really a reminder for me. These are things that I knew going in, but just a very strong energy of how quick the manifestation is, how clear we can see that we are all at this point creating, but at an instantaneous rate. So if you had to stop and look around at your life and go, you know, this isn't working, or that's really great, we have huge parts in that at this point.
Yeah, actually, talking about manifestation, during the trip, we had a fireplace in our room because it was like, you know, it was a little chillier than Florida. It was so beautiful, and the fire had been out for like 30 minutes, and Dov's just sitting there, and she's like, you know, I wish I would have made it, you know, I would have asked the man to make a bigger fire because we just, you know, had like this small fire. And she's like, because I really want it, you know, I want the fire now. And all of a sudden, it was like the whole room lit up. It was like, and the fire just started up again. And we were just like, okay. We were dying. But anyways.
You can't make this shit up.
No, you can't.
You can't. So the trip was wonderful. Thank you. You guys are amazing. Thank you, Erin. We did get some good rest there. We also got some really, really inspired and very cool answers for things for you guys that you are going to have to wait for, but things that we are just beyond excited about. Creating massive creation, massive flow of creation, you know, and the reason that comes in too is when we pause, right? This is why when we work with entrepreneurs, when we do our mastermind, when we do things like that, we do tell people, don't forget to pause, you know? And this was a moment where we really paused, and what happened is the universe just went, oh, here, boom. And really important answers and programs and ideas and offers and videos, you know, for you guys that are really going to serve questions that have been being asked for years, really came through with clarity and ease. And it was really, really humbling and inspiring to be able to create that and to share it with you guys, and all of the ideas that came through, and feeling like we could really be there. And also, you know, having to take good self-care, to remember, right? And we spoke with one of you guys, or I was speaking to somebody, and I was just like, we're also humans, right? And we're here supporting you guys in so many different ways. And we also have all this human stuff that happens, and we need to create self-care. Yes. And so it was a really important aspect to go take some time, and also to feel into the realities that we want to experience. At every given point, if you guys can give yourself a break sometime and shift and have a day at a new park, or, you know, something that feels good, allow yourself to be constantly expanding your sight, smell, taste experience so that you can continue to grow into the environment that you would like to be in. Continue to grow into the experiences that you want to have. We also saw one of you guys while we were there, which was like so amazing.
Yes.
Shout out to an amazing lunch, breakfast. You know, we got lost for like 4 hours speaking, and it was just the best ever. So it's
we went into a vortex.
really been awesome. Thank you so much. Yes, a vacation away from the city is also really important sometimes.
It's very necessary, you guys, especially if you're healers or you do any kind of work with people in that way or service-based. It's really important to get that time. I mean, Dov and I, like, as soon as we got there, it was like such a shift of everything. There was just so much peace, like, in all the static that was going on. And, you know, I often say, like, you know, you need to change yourself from the inside out, but sometimes you need to change the outsides a little bit and move around and give yourself what you need in that way. It's really important.
Absolutely, right? And environments are so different. Meeting and connecting with new people, feeling the desert versus this, you know, very oceany, low altitude place that we are currently in was really different. And being able to find beauty, remember things, you just pause, you know, pause and come back to a little bit of a self-remembrance. You know, something for me, I haven't done photography in a long time and I love it. Not as a business, I love it just as an experience. It's a healing thing for me. And just being able to be there in nature, in the desert, and take photographs, which I will put up as well, has just been really wonderful. So thank you guys for asking. Thank you for your love. We hope that this sermon has been helpful for you guys. And if it has, if you're new, make sure that you're following and liking the page because we have so much coming. We're so excited
Kelly. We're so glad you're here. Sorry.
Yes. Hi, Kelly. We're so excited. Share this video if it's helpful. Tag people in it. We're thrilled to see you guys. We cannot wait to continue to roll out all of the exciting things that the rest of this year has and all of the change. Give yourself a new perspective in this day, in this moment. Let this information sink in. Listen to it again. Let your perspective move. Allow your consciousness to grow. You know, let the stories go and continue to go in and out of the spiral, allowing yourself to evolve and shift without judgment and creation of stories that actually keep you bound, right? So we love you guys. Have an amazing day.
Peace out from Nick Lovin.
Love you guys. Have an amazing one. Talk soon.
Bye.